What is up, guys? My name is Philip Solomon Toure and I'm a sports psychology consultant, and you are tuned in to Psych-Pass Shoot Score, giving you content on anything sports, sports psychology and anime related. So hit that subscribe button if you love any of those topics. And for today's video, what I'm going to be doing is reviewing UFC 251, an amazing fight card over the weekend. Saw some great fights. Great from a technical standpoint. We saw some controversial decisions in my opinion, and so what I'm going to be doing is reviewing 3 fights which I found really interesting from a psychological standpoint and really interesting from a fight fan just in general. And we're going to see how the different breakdowns of different athletes, the different breakdowns of different fights, and overall just my perspective on the whole UFC fight card altogether. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first fight I'm going to be breaking down in this UFC 251 fight card is Alexander the Great versus Max Holloway for the featherweight championship. And so this was their rematch, and so in the second fight this was really good, as well as the first fight. That fight was really good. And in that first fight it really felt like they were playing chess with each other. It felt like a type of high IQ type of fight. And in that first fight, Alex performed really well in those first couple of rounds. He was producing a high output and was performing amazingly. However, within the last couple of rounds, it looked like Max adjusted really well and started producing great striking and a great kind of typical performance that you can see of him. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough, or that wasn't enough that the judges felt that he won that fight, and so he lost his title. Now coming into this rematch, it looked like it was kind of a reverse. Like at the start, Max came out guns blazing, really sharp, really strong start. You can tell he had great striking as he typically does. There was even a bit of trash talking, a bit of mocking Alex when he looked like he was about to fall. So Max came out really strong. In that third round, I'm not too sure who won that round. I definitely feel that Max won the first 2 rounds. In that third round, it was really close. They were both performing really on the same level. But then as the rounds and as the match progressed and continued, Alex started adjusting really well. You can see his great takedowns. You can see really good striking, really good positioning, and he really did adjust really well towards the end of the fight and won at least 1 or 2 of those rounds. Overall, I felt that Max won that fight, and so when the judges gave their decisions and the referee raised Alex's hand, I was so shocked. Like, it really seemed that Max produced overall a great performance, and even in the rounds that he may not necessarily have won, he was still producing good significant strikes. Whereas in the rounds that he did win in the first couple of rounds, it looked like Alex wasn't performing well. So overall, I thought that Max won that fight, but that was the judge's decision. And so let me know in the comment section, do you agree with me? Do you feel that Max won, or do you feel that Alex won? And also, do you feel that this should be run back for a trilogy fight? Let me know in the comment section. So the second fight I'm going to be talking about in this UFC 251 breakdown is Rose Namajunas versus Jessica in the women's division. So happy to see Thug Rose back, probably my favorite fighter in the UFC females right now. And so that fight was really good as well. This was also a rematch, just like in the Max Holloway and Alex fight. And in this first fight, we saw that Rose was performing amazingly, great striking, great footwork. However, she did make one big mistake, and that mistake cost her the fight and ultimately her title. But then that's the thing within the UFC. One mistake, no matter how big or how little it is, can have a major impact on the fight and can get it stopped. So I was interested to see whether Rose would make adjustments, whether Jessica would make adjustments, because there was a lot of bits in that fight that she wasn't performing well as well. So I was interested to see how they would adjust and work on their weaknesses in this rematch. One thing I like about Thug Rose is that she uses an incredible amount of psychological skills, and one that she mainly uses is relaxation. And she covers that psychological skill through using multiple different techniques, such as visualization, breathing techniques, or her mantra. And these all help her get into a relaxed state, with the ultimate goal getting to a flow state. And so what a flow state really is that kind of hyper focus and great energy levels, which allows Rose to kind of perform effortlessly, putting all her training into the performance. And so that was kind of her ultimate goal, and that's kind of her ultimate goal within the previous performances. So I was interested to see whether the adjustments that she made, coupled with those psychological skills that she commonly uses, how that was going to affect the fight. And we saw a great fight from her. And so when the fight was starting, we saw those breathing techniques, and I'm sure those had a great impact on getting her into that flow state, and that flow state helped her in the performance that she produced. We saw great striking, great footwork, great precise combos, and that really did impact her fight and really did have a negative impact on what Jessica could do. One thing that we saw, which isn't very common within the UFC and things that we hear, is that she had a great support system on the sidelines. We heard the coaches shouting a lot of positive self-talk, a lot of positive words of affirmation, which I'm sure really helped her to stay focused, stay locked in, and stay into that kind of flow state. We did see Jessica as well kind of improve. There was a lot more head movement, which that was one of the weaknesses in the previous fight. We saw a lot of head movement from that aspect, a few good takedowns, and towards the later rounds we can see her really like coming into her own and producing those really tough wrestling and jiu-jitsu techniques that we saw in the first fight. However, overall it was kind of clear that Rose won that fight due to those precise shots, due to great takedown defense, and overall, yeah, she definitely won that fight. So I'll be interested to see how this kind of fares, whether she'll be given a title shot or whether she'll have to fight another fighter beforehand. And so we'll be interested to see her future in the UFC. And so the final fight in this UFC 251 breakdown, of course, the main card, Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman. And so this was a really hyped fight coming in. They all both had a lot of trash talking, a lot of bad blood between each other. And so this was a really great, interesting fight to kind of get into and just see overall what was going to unfold. And so coming into the fight, I thought that it would be interesting to see how everything would unfold, because they both have really unique strengths. And so it'll be interesting to see how they both kind of collide in the octagon. With Masvidal, he has a very, very good fight IQ built through the years and years of fighting that he's been doing, and a psychological skill that he also has, which is built from those years of fighting and performing, is confidence. He has a lot of self-confidence, and we can see that through his lifestyle, we can see that through his training, and we can see that through the little showboating things that he does throughout matches when he competes. But a big question which I was asking myself coming into this fight is his stamina, and how well his stamina is going to really translate on this short notice coming into the fight. Whereas we have Usman, who in my opinion has the best wrestling within the division, but a question was, how is he going to transition well from this short kind of change within his opponent? And so both of them had really great advantages, but then both of them had big questions that they had to answer within this fight. And so in the fight, in the early rounds, we could really see Masvidal, his confidence, we could really see him coming out guns blazing, started off really strong, really sharp, great combinations. However, as the match progressed, as the rounds kept going on, we could really see Usman getting stronger and stronger. With more of his wrestling background, we could see him dominating bit by bit as each round progressed. And he started to look a lot stronger. You can see this within the amount of takedowns he started to produce later on in the rounds. And overall, I feel that he's just the better athlete. And so as time would progress, that doesn't pair well with Masvidal. in combination with the fact that he has such short notice and didn't really have a long training camp to build up to this fight. And I feel like that did play a part. Linking that with kind of his psychological skill that we see confidence, there are multiple different ways people can gain confidence and different sources of confidence. One of them is physiological and emotional states. And so this is confidence which is gained from athletes being in situations where it's high pressure or in situations which require a lot of stamina, and then being in those situations feeling that, oh no, physically I am still performing really well. And through being in that situation, that gives them confidence. The more stamina they have, the more the ability they have to produce a consistent performance over time, the more confident they get as rounds progress. However, with Masvidal, his stamina we could see definitely decrease as the rounds progressed, and I feel this had an impact on his confidence as he realized that he's not able to produce that same performance in the early rounds as in the later rounds. And so with that stamina decreasing, I feel like that had an impact on his confidence and then ultimately had an impact on his performance. And as those rounds kept progressing and his performance kind of decreased and Usman's performance increased, we can see kind of why Usman won the fight, and overall he did deserve to win that fight. So it'll be interesting to see whether they do run it back for a rematch, and if Masvidal gets a full training camp. He did show a lot of great takedown defense, and so it'll be interesting to see whether they bring it back, and if he has a full fight camp, whether he's able to adjust really well, get great stamina, continue to develop his takedown defense, and with that produce a high level of confidence and maybe even win the rematch. It'll definitely be interesting to see going forward. But that ends today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that fight card. There was a lot of really good fights that I didn't really talk about, such as the Jose Aldo fight and others in the prelims. So overall, I really think it was a strong card. I'm looking forward to see what the UFC do within the next couple of weeks and next couple of months as different fighters come back, and see the fight island now how it is, a bit more structured, a bit more put together. Maybe a few more fighters will feel confident fighting in those situations. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more content just like this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.